This is big.
This is big, maybe. My last video, I was talking about what I thought the next 4 days were likely to do, and day one's right on the dot. Once you start learning technical analysis, it's kind of neat. So what I've got here is a support line, and then on top I've got made a little triangle with the resistance. See how it's bumped into it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times or so, give or take. And then my last video, we ended here, right in here. And I said it looked like it was pretty obvious it was going to go up here, down here, here, the 12th and 13th. Most likely, I'm thinking big breakout. But are we on the doorstep of the biggest pump in the history of Bitcoin? I hate to just make a title to say that for views, but I think it's likely. If you've been watching my videos, I've been talking about April 14th is the IPO for Coinbase, and that is right here. The weekend is the 10th and the 11th. So what I was saying in that last video of mine was if it pumps on the weekend, it's almost a lock on Mondays, Bitcoin dumps, right? So if it dumps on the weekend, it's almost a lock, Bitcoin pumps on a Monday, okay? So let's get the weekend out of there. Let's draw a vertical line on the 12th. It's good to put things in graphics. It's good for the brain to look at. Here's Monday, April 12th. So what I was saying is it looks pretty obvious to me. And I mean, this is this is what I would want to happen, right? Because I've got almost all my orders in already. But I'm not just saying this is likely to happen because that's what I want. It's slapping me in the face, so I'm just going to report on it. This is day one. I was saying the 8th and the 9th. We're probably going to. We were down here bumping off this resistance support line. I was saying 8th and 9th. We're probably going up here and hitting resistance. We don't have to hit it exactly, but maybe for the rest of the 8th and all of the 9th, we just. We don't really go up. I mean, we can go up a little. We can go sideways. We can go kind of sideways. Maybe go kind of something like this in here, squiggly. But the point is, I was saying the 8th and the 9th, we're going to go up here. And then the 10th and the 11th, I'm thinking it's coming back down and bouncing off support. Monday, coming back up. Monday the 12th, which would be here. And Tuesday the 13th, which would be about here. I'm thinking probably the 12th, maybe, and the 13th. IPO of Coinbase is on the 14th. And some people are saying, some analysts are saying it's likely to dump on the 14th and 15th, just because that's kind of what happens sometimes. They're going to pump and dump Bitcoin. But the problem with that is Coinbase just put out on their IPO on the NASDAQ, April 14th, which is a Wednesday. They just put out stellar numbers for the first quarter, or just stellar numbers. And there's no reason those numbers should change a whole lot for quarter 2 and quarter 3 and probably quarter 4 of this year. They're really not going to change. I mean, Bitcoin. I guess the point is there's so much good news around Coinbase IPO and so much good news around Bitcoin with institutional investors literally buying over the counter in mass amounts. But it doesn't affect this chart because it's over the counter. So I'm not sure who's selling. I don't know what's going on. Maybe a lot of us just forced liquidations and stuff. But there's some analysts out there I see on YouTube that they're saying Bitcoin's going to dump and it's a bear market. And I've only been around Bitcoin for about 3 or 4 months now. But I'm sorry, anyone that says that is just not paying attention. I've noticed some mathematical based and historical based data people out there, analysts out there. It's a huge mistake not to look to the future, not to pay attention to the news. Good news is what causes massive pumps. And there's analysts out there that they just sit on the math and the data and the historical data, and some of those people are kind of bearish. But it's a huge mistake not to look at it. And there's other people that look at the news that don't look at the past historical data and the math. So you can't, either one is equally bad. You can't just pay attention to the news and not technical analysis. And you definitely cannot just pay attention to technical analysis and not news, because technical analysis is all rear view mirror. News is out in front, what's coming at you. So you got to pay attention to both rear view mirror and out the front of the windshield. And there's just wonderful news, just wonderful news all over the place. So this vertical line, okay, IPO on the 14th, Wednesday next week, and let's draw Tuesday back in just for good visual reference. There's Monday. Okay, so let's just draw vertical lines all over the place while my cats run around and make a bunch of noise. Quiet. Why? It's always when I want to work that they're the worst. Just. Let's go ahead and mark the 9th here. Okay, let's just mark this off. Having fun marking stuff off. So, what I was saying in my last video, if it plays out, we could be looking at major pumpage on the 12th, which is here. I'm making this video April 8th, 11 p.m. Central Time, plus 8 minutes. And then, so we're basically right here on this line. So the 8th is playing out perfect. The 9th, I'm thinking, is just kind of going to go something like this. I don't expect it to break this resistance line. I expect it to bounce off of it. We don't need to touch it. We could just kind of go like this, sideways for a while. 8th, 9th, and then it just looks like it's setting up to me 10th and 11th on the weekend. This gap here. It just looks like it's setting up to me to do something that looks like this right here. And then April 12th, I didn't mean to do that last little booger down there. Let's do that again. It just looks like to me it's setting up to do this, something like this here. Come back down off support. April 12th is Monday. I'm pretty sure we're breaking out. April 12th, right in here somewhere. I'm pretty sure we're breaking out, and it's going to look something like this. I could be wrong. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we just do this, and then it's April 13th. April 13th will be about right here. Maybe it's on the 13th. I don't know. I'm thinking it starts on the 12th because my little piece of information about this is the weekend, a 2-day weekend, is dumping, right? And obviously we're pumping up to the resistance line, and we're either going to break out tomorrow or over the weekend. We don't want to break out over the weekend because that would signal a dump on Monday. We don't want that. What we want and what I hope is happening is we pump through tomorrow, and then Saturday, Sunday, we dump. We want to dump on the weekend. We want to dump. Bring us the dump. Because if it dumps on the weekend, what happens? It's almost a statistical guarantee. If there's a dump on the weekend, on the Monday, we've got a pump. That pump may not be contained. That pump made pumpity pump. Here's April 14th, Wednesday. IPO of Coinbase. What's going to happen, folks? I don't know. Maybe it just keeps on pumping. There's just so much fantastic news out there. It's just a mistake to ignore the news. But you know, it's a good assumption that there could be a dump after the IPO. But what if there is no dump? What if this doesn't happen? And what if we just go like so? What if we just go like there's April 12th, say we're breaking out through here, and see this triangle's if you've been watching my videos, there's been quite a few things where I've lined up right on April 14th, right on it, and then also the Coinbase IPOs on the 14th, and then this triangle is like the third interesting kind of piece of info that it's breaking. I mean, this triangle ends on the 14th, 15th, but it ends right when the IPO happens. Isn't that strange? And this triangle says we have to break up or break down, right? So dump weekend, pump Monday. There's no reason for it to dump again leading into this IPO. There should be massive attention. It's all good, fantastic news. So I'm thinking it's going to go something like this. Pumpage, boom. Wednesday. What happens Wednesday? I don't know. What if we're dealing with something like this? Okay. And the next Fibonacci level, there's the next real strong resistance. If we do break out, here like this, if we break out up in a serious breakout, there's really not a Fibonacci level until like 120,000, and that would be a double from where we're at now. And that could happen. We could be sitting at around $120,000 per Bitcoin in about 3 weeks or so. If this were to play out like I was talking about, 30 days from our high back here is to April 14th, which is 30 days. It took us, once we got close to the all-time high, it took 30 days to pump. And when that happened, we went from 20,000 to 41,000 in 3 weeks. And I've been comparing this November 17th to December 17th, December 16th. That's comparable to where we're at now, March 13th to April 14th. I've been comparing that for a week, and there's just several things that suggest April 14th is going to get real interesting. And it happens to be the day they picked the IPO Coinbase. Was that a coincidence? Why is it the April 14th? Why did they pick that day? Do they know something we don't, or do they know something we do know now? It just looks like it's setting up to me to just do that. Just 30 days of just sideways consolidation, little dip, little pump in there, but it doubled. So if we were to double over the next 3 weeks from 14th, it would put us May 7th, May 8th would put us at about $120,000 if that were to happen, if that were to play out similar. So that's something to keep in mind. So if it looked something like this 3 week stretch here, let's get our little vertical lines. If this 3 week stretch looked something like what you're looking at right there, give or take, or where would that be? December 16th. Yeah, that's about it. That's about right. 3 weeks and a couple days. If we did do that, if we were sitting around 120,000 in 3 weeks from now, that would be look something like this right here, right? That's where we're at now, right here. This is where we're at right now doing this. And then if this is the next 3 weeks up to here, be careful, because what happens if we are at 120,000? This is a speculation, but it's good to speculate because it can keep you safe. Say we were at 120,000 and it dumps the same way it did last time. It did something like this, a 30% dump. If we were to pump to 120,000 in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so, you would want to expect a 30% dump. See what I'm saying? It's good. Technical analysis is good because it can keep you safe and keep you informed, but it's not a guarantee. Technical analysis is not a guarantee, and a lot of the real math-based analysts are making a serious mistake trying to use past historical Bitcoin data to talk about the future, because it's different. It's simply different. down here If I could draw, oh shoot. Down here, there's just massive institutional investing. Tesla and Michael Saylor and Grayscale and who knows who else is involved at this point. We're talking about Walmart and Apple probably getting into it pretty soon, and these people aren't going to sell. I mean, it's just all down here. I, there's some analysts say, well, we could go back down to 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 or 40. I don't think so. I don't think we're ever going to see 50,000 again, unless it were to happen in the near future, or a black swan that no one can predict. I honestly don't think we're ever going to go down here again below this line. I don't. Those institutional investors, those institutional investors would have to sell, and they don't. They don't do that. They don't make a big billions of dollars, and they don't. And they don't do that. They don't. Institutions don't buy huge amounts of assets just to sell them a few months later. For one, they have so much money. It's so much money. They'd pay like what 50% of that would go to taxes. That's not what institutions do. And anyone is saying that Bitcoin's gonna crash. It might be the worst analysis anyone in the history of analysis has ever talked about. If they don't sell, how can it even go below 50,000? I don't care what past historical data says. Any analyst is talking about the year 2013. This they need to stop, because that has you're talking about nation FOMO, planetary global FOMO into Bitcoin, and there's people comparing it to the year 2013. It makes no sense. So don't ignore the news. Don't ignore the TA. Do both. Anyone that only concentrates on one side or the other is just really going to give us some bad information. But I'm just a dude on YouTube. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional, but I've been following this close, and I'm pretty tuned in. I'm not totally perfect. I make mistakes here and there, but this is just something I want you to watch. What I'm talking about is this right here. This is what I think it's going to look like. We're going to kind of come up here, maybe touch this resistance. Maybe we don't quite get there. It doesn't matter. Going to kind of come down here, 10th and 11th. Maybe we don't touch support. I think we probably will. We might even have a little week, something like that. And then April 12th, man, we'll be right up here on April 12th. And if it pumps, it might be a 3-week pump. There's just not a lot of resistance in the neighborhood. Once we get up in here, so there's really not. I mean, it's going to be up there exploring on its own where there's never been. I mean, it's just it's exciting. It's exciting times. I want to congratulate the people that came here from my VidVulture channel. Very, very few people followed me over here. Congratulations to you. I do believe we're on a doorstep of major, major good stuff. With that being said, I could be wrong. Maybe this goes down here like the blind analysts say. That's not impossible. And I'm a big fan of just investing and low leverage. High leverage people are getting wiped out. High leverage traders got mauled here. They got mauled here. Probably a little maulage in here. In here. These little terrible sloppy scribble circles I'm making are billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. Like, we need to bring Carl Sagan in here. Billions and billions and billions of long leverage traders, over leveraged, getting mauled and losing money. So I highly recommend, don't take my word for a high leverage trade. So As you know, all my little green dots over here, I do little tiny itty bitty little extremely low leverage trades. That's just how I do it. I just totally stay safe, and guess I'm just kind of rambling at this point, trying to say this is no guarantee. What would I say if I had to put odds on it? I'd say 80 to 90% sure this is going to look something like this. Where it goes up here, I'm not exactly sure. My IPO would make sense to dump. What if it dumps a little and then keeps going? What if it doesn't dump at all? It just kind of goes and goes and goes. I just want to let you know over the next 3 weeks, could be sitting at 120,000. I just want to let you know it's not impossible. In the next 3 weeks, we're not sitting over $100,000. If we do something like that, let it be known. There's probably going to be a fairly large 30-40% correction. So you may watch channels on YouTube that promote high leverage trading. It's extremely dangerous, and I would say don't do it. Just play the long game, play the small game, and just slowly build up your stack over time. We're in a bull run of Bitcoin. It's just, if you can't make money in this bull run, then you've done something seriously wrong. These people that are losing money over leveraged in places like this, it's just I don't want to be negative and degrade people, but that's one of the worst blunders in the history of investing and trading, to lose money in this bull run of 2021 Bitcoin. It's just it's going to look something like this, right? Way up here, probably way off the top of the chart, and then big bump dumpage, right? So anyways, Bitcoin's volatile and an upward trend. Oh, that makes me, this new support line is in here. It ends December 31st, 2021. This support line. If we go, I can't expand this chart, but if we follow it up to the end of the year, the old support lines I had in there were at about 180,000 December 31st, end of the year. This new support line, which obviously is the correct support line at this time, ends at about $155,000 Bitcoin, and this might be the support line that never is broken the rest of this year. I wouldn't say that's not, that might be likely, actually, because if we pump up to 220, 300,000 and then dump back down end of the year about 150, that's just total speculation. But anyways, this support line, December 31st, 2021, 155,000 or so. And let's see, it's at 110 first week of September. That's a support line, right? So I've got it expanded enough now. So what if we did pump up to 120,000? This is what it would look like, something like this. Let's see, second week of May, come crashing back down. Something like that. Something like that. Anyways, it's kind of fun to doodle around. I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks for watching. Educate yourself. That's what Bitcoin's all about. Be independent. Learn yourself real good. Like